There's no frunk in here. Yeah, we're not putting...
Well, you can put it right here, but it might be a little dangerous.
Yeah, no room for your gear in this one.
This is Honda's new all-electric SUV, the Prologue. It's all new for 2024, it's priced from 60,000 Canadian and all trim grades get all-wheel drive. 288 horsepower, 333 pounds of torque, and 452 kilometers of range with just one exception. Touring models, like my fully loaded $70,000 tester, have 439 kilometers of range instead, losing a little bit to those great big wheels. This color is called Raven Black, and the Prologue is built by General Motors in Mexico. This is a joint venture product you'll also see around as the new Chevy Blazer. Key competitors include the Tesla Model Y, Ford Mustang Mach-E, Nissan Ariya, and others, and if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you don't miss any future comparison videos on these models that are coming your way. Road test coming up for you, but first, let's take a look around inside.
So here's the main interface. Highly responsive. We can just swipe back and forth like that. You'll notice it's not too exciting looking, but also that it's very easy to find your way around. And if you get lost in one of the settings or menus here, always we can just press this button here and we're back to the home screen. Climate control system down here. If you've driven a modern GM product lately, you'll feel right at home with that. Turn it on here, press for auto. We've got these large tactile dials here with the temperature reference there in the middle. Controls for our ventilated and heated seats here, and supplemental controls for defroster, fan speed, and so on. One other quick thing I want to point out for you if you're planning to do some long distance driving in this machine is in the charging menu here up on the screen. So we can go in here, and if we want, say we know we're going to be approaching a fast charge station that we want to use in the next couple of minutes, you can actually get ready for fast charging and start your fast charging prep here by just tapping that button to make sure that you have the fastest fast charge experience possible. 2 USB-C power plugs here, one 12-volt outlet under this guy, wireless charging slot for your phone here if you like. Fairly deep center console there with a little divider drawer up top, but no additional charging or lighting inside of this.
And you can put this wherever you want.
Oh yeah.
Fancy dancy, right?
Perfect.
I know my Hondas.
So now let's see how 2 full-grown adults would fit in the second row behind ourselves. Pretty much the same thing getting into the front. You come in and you're sitting down into your seat again, a little more car-like. It's not a butt slide over, you're sliding over and down, definitely not climbing or hopping up to get inside. 1 hand width, 2 hand widths, and then some up in front. We've got storage pouches here on both seats. Your side and mine. Charging down here. Got 120 volt power outlet there if you like. Flat rear floor. Headroom running out a little bit. If you're much taller than me at about 5'10", there will probably be some contact here. But I've got a nice leaned back position sitting into my seat here. It's comfortable. Loads of legroom. Headroom's okay. That will run out more quickly if you're much taller than me. Got a little bit of a recline here, so that's completely upright. And then if I want to recline this and lay back a little, we can have another inch or 2 of movement back this way, just like that. This is comfy, the seats are comfy, the roominess is there. It doesn't feel visually claustrophobic. Like, look, we've got the window kind of swooping down here, but all of my forward sight lines are good. Got a little reading light here. Does yours have one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Little reading lights for each of those. 3, 4, 5 hours on a road trip, I'd be just fine back here.
No issues here. Like, I can't believe the leg room, because I'm even sitting back further than you in the passenger.
Yeah.
And
your passenger seat's further back than my driver's seat.
I'll have full hand length before I touch the seats.
Yeah, you still got.
So I can cross my legs, no problem.
So here we go, 2 full-size adults, plenty of room to kick back in here and relax. No problem for a road trip with this at all. I've got places to put my tablet, laptop, magazines, to charge my phone.
And a toaster.
Drive is nicely sorted out too. And with that, it's time for us to get to the road test.
Really, it's a satisfying driving experience for the dollar in just about all areas of importance, and if you're about to pull the trigger and write a check on one of these, this will probably be the most important part of the video for you to watch. On a test drive, you notice the Prologue's unique driving feel very quickly. To me, it feels large and in charge, but also refreshingly light. You've got a driving position and stance that inspires confidence and control, but without towering up high like a great big SUV. And the way the Prologue fits around you and lets you see out of it, and even board by sitting down slightly into the cabin, instead of hopping up a little, made this, to me, feel more like a station wagon or tall car than an SUV. The Prologue can require some big steering inputs at its thick steering wheel, and the body can make some big movements over its suspension when driving on rough surfaces. Much more detail on that later. It has the sensation of density and sturdiness beneath that most SUV drivers like, but it's also light at the controls, remarkably low effort to drive in many ways, and it feels eager and energetic. So I found the Prologue to feel refreshingly lively for its size, an easy and snappy thing to drive in the city and nicely laid back for hours of long-distance cruising too. So to summarize, I think you'll find this responds and handles like something smaller and lighter than it looks, while still giving you the solid, sturdy, and heavy driving feel that SUV shoppers tend to like. I also found the Prologue to be very easy to maneuver. Those front wheels can turn very sharply, which helps in tight quarters. Same with the multi-angle backup camera, which helps reduce stress levels when parking. But do keep in mind that the image quality and detail take a serious hit in poorly lit areas. When driving in parking lots and other low-speed situations, you'll hear the Prologue's noisemaker. A wisp of electronic sound active below about 35 kilometers an hour that morphs with the vehicle's speed, until the tires are spinning fast enough to make their own sound. This isn't so much fake engine noise, instead an alert sound to anyone nearby who may not be looking, and otherwise wouldn't hear a thing. I appreciated the Prologue the most as a road tripper. With just about 440 kilometers of range on a full battery, I could comfortably handle hours and hours of cruising before needing to charge up. But a few notes here. First, stick close to the speed limit for the best range. I found even a little speeding drains the battery much more quickly. On road trips where I used DC fast charging, I was able to add 150 kilometers of range, which is just about 100 miles, to the battery in about 20 minutes on one stop, to bring the battery from 80 to 95% in about 20 minutes on another. But oddly, another visit to that same charger later in the week took 40 minutes to get me from 45 to 70%. Various factors affect the speed at which your battery charges, including the type of fast charger you connect to. And the ones I'm showing you here are roughly matched to the maximum charging rate the Prologue's battery can handle, around 150 kilowatts. So if you can plan fast charging stops on road trips around a washroom and coffee break, a few minute stretch, some shopping, or catching up on your emails, you shouldn't expect to be waiting around for too long. Most of the time you're only driving a few dozen kilometers per day, not a few hundred, so you'll just charge up at home, which might take a minute or two out of your month as you hook up the charging cable. No standing around waiting required. If you fill a car or truck up at the gas station even once a month, you're spending more time standing around than charging an EV like this at home. But on long trips, it can be the other way around. And on trips down rough and bumpy roads, you're in good hands. On the roughest roads I drive on, I found the Prologue to do an above-average job of keeping body motions from becoming too dramatic. Wheels maintain strong contact with the road while being pummeled, so things feel more stable and planted from the driver's seat, even when the suspension's under assault from the road surface beneath. So the suspension reacts favorably to almost all uneven surfaces, and while potholes and railway crossings with sharper edges can cause the odd whack from beneath, I think you'll ultimately find this a solid and relatively comfortable machine for back road and even light off-road cruising if required. If you like, opting for a trim grade with smaller wheels can improve ride quality in this setting, and there's a slight increase in range. By default, the Prologue favors smooth and easygoing acceleration that makes it easy for the driver to get the maximum range out of their charge. The throttle is geared for energy economy. The all-wheel drive system delivers torque to both axles from a dig, meaning that there's minimal squat when accelerating off the line, which helps smooth out the drive and you're just quietly gliding up to speed, clicking the cruise control on and relaxing in peace and quiet. In its highest setting, the one-pedal drive is very aggressive, meaning that most of your braking is 99% electric, and doesn't require you to use the brake pedal, pulling you right down to a stop and leaving your right foot on vacation. In sport mode, the throttle is more exciting and you'll feel the full capability of the electric motors shoving you into your seat. The acceleration impresses more for its smoothness and the full uninterrupted feeling to the power delivery than all-out firepower, though it is more than adequately quick, especially right off the line. Panic stops came laser straight, the pedal feels firm and assertive, not squishy and vague. And again, watch as the suspension works to keep the body motions from getting too dramatic here. Under hard braking, we're shifting all that weight forward, but without rubbing the nose into the road. The car feels more controllable, less dramatic, and I think you'll find a confident braking feel here. Drivers take it in from a straightforward interior that's easy to work and find your way around. And while it's not big on color, I did appreciate the combination of gray seats with orange stitching, and extra points for the powerful power lumbar support in the driver's seat. If you're someone who needs it, this is a good strong one. Overall, I get the impression that this interior is built more to inform than engage. And I think after taking a good look at this interior, that if you wish for a little more color or flair, that would just make you a completely normal human being. But how does this all look in the dark? The experience from the Prologue's driver's seat at night is a mixed bag, and there are some strengths and weaknesses. Notice the ambient light slash across the center and passenger dashboard, separating the cabin into two distinctive lighting zones: the digital screens up top and the illuminated tactile controls below, as well as on the steering wheel. Power ports and the gear shift stalk are illuminated, and there's a heads-up display as well to help keep you informed of vital data, with less eye movement away from the road. Still, I did leave my tester wishing for more contrast on all of those displays after dark. The head-up display, cluster screen, and central screen all use a hazy blue-gray background. On the instrument cluster and central screen, that's on purpose. In the head-up display, you can see that gray square around your data where the light's leaking through, and many head-up displays do a better job of mitigating that than this one. Display screens have their place, but making them work great in the dark can be tricky, and I think there's a real opportunity here to improve the nighttime instrumentation. Excellent performance from the headlights though, and these tick all of the right boxes for confident travels on the dark tree-lined highways of Northern Ontario, where I do most of my nighttime driving, and from that perspective, I don't think the Prologue's lighting system will leave you wanting for much. The fixed beams don't steer into corners like the adaptive cornering lights you'll find elsewhere in the market, but overall this lighting system delivers strong lighting power far and wide, sending plenty of light into the bush and up into roadside rock cuts. The auto high beams are on the ball, and their impressive reach means they'll pick up reflectors that are very far away, helping drivers to keep aware of their faraway surroundings once the sun's gone down. And if you appreciate that little demonstration of what to expect from the lighting system in your new Honda Prologue, then please leave me a like and hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.